Prince Harry, who once turned his back on the royal family and moved to America with Meghan Markle, is now seeking a permanent home in the UK. This move has ignited a firestorm of controversy, raising the question, is he genuinely trying to make it easier for Meghan and the kids to visit, or is this just another frivolous whim? It's hard to believe that Harry, who vehemently criticized the royal institution and embraced a lavish life in the States, now wants to return. Could this be another farce, a ploy to stay in the limelight, or is he manipulating family ties to salvage his crumbling public image? These actions reveal not only a glaring inconsistency, but also an underlying selfish ambition. Is he trying to enjoy a double life, exploiting both worlds for his own benefit? This decision reeks of self-interest, and it's time to uncover the truth behind Harry's questionable motives. Clearly, he doesn't need a permanent home in the UK right now, but that could change later this year. His revelations about regular drug use over the years in his book might get him kicked out of the USA for lying on his visa application. It depends on who wins the presidential election in November, and 50% of the candidates have already spoken out on this issue. Would a UK home be for Meghan and the kids to visit? I don't think so. She dislikes the country and its prejudiced population and has made it clear she never wants to return. Keeping a house there would require permanent staff like cleaners, gardeners, and security guards in case of a sudden visit, making it a waste of money. The other 50 weeks of the year, that money has to come from somewhere, especially when you're untalented, unemployable, and cut off from your dad's bank. Would a permanent home be just for entertaining? But who would he entertain if he had any friends left? If he did, he could have stayed with one of them for his Invictus trip instead of choosing a hotel room. From reports, he's spending a lot of time in hotels these days, so it probably feels secure and like home to him. If his Soho House membership is still active, he could always book an entertaining room there to manage his social life. So, what else is there? Maybe he sees it as a tax haven to dodge the IRS, who are getting more curious about his finances, especially since he recently declared himself a U.S. resident. Mind you, the IRS is ruthless in pursuing dollars, so he shouldn't start congratulating himself on a smart move just yet. There's only one valid reason for a permanent home in the UK that I can see to keep a tenuous connection to the royal family. He's lost all his military titles and charity patronages, except for Invictus, and I wonder how long that will last. But his position as fifth in line to the throne means he could still theoretically be called to be a counselor of state, standing in for the king, with Meghan as stand-in queen if none of the other counselors were available. For this to happen, he needs to be a UK resident, and he's already admitted that losing the lease on Frogmore Cottage was a bad move. Fortunately, both the Princess Royal and the Duke of Edinburgh have recently been appointed as additional counselors of state, so they would be called upon before anyone bothered wasting the energy to look up his phone number. So I think we're safe for now. To be honest, I don't welcome Harry's return at all, but what I wish for doesn't always come true. Harry's marriage to Meghan has fallen apart, and he now sees the damage it has caused in his life. His heart will always be with his family and the United Kingdom. Before marrying Meghan, Harry had the support of his brother and the rest of the royal family despite his past mistakes. Since marrying Meghan, however, his public image has suffered. I think Harry needs AP protection to safeguard himself and Meghan from the consequences of their actions. I suspect laws may have been broken when Harry moved to the USA and possibly within their charities. If the Heritage Foundation succeeds in opening up the records, Harry may face deportation to the United Kingdom. It would be wise for Harry to have a home to return to in the UK when things get complicated, as Meghan is unlikely to return with him. Regarding the children, if there are any, their future will likely be determined by the agreement with the surrogate mother and whether Harry is their biological father. This may become part of court proceedings. But regardless, I hope there's a way to prevent Harry from returning to the UK. He has no right to come back after abandoning his royal duties and causing such upheaval. His constant flip-flopping between loyalty to the crown and his new life in America only highlights his lack of commitment and respect for the responsibilities he once had. Harry has shown a blatant disregard for the values and traditions of the monarchy, choosing instead to air private grievances in public and capitalize on his royal connections for personal gain. Allowing him to return now under the guise of family visits or seeking a permanent home would undermine the integrity of the royal family and send a message that such reckless behavior has no real consequences. It's time to stand firm and make it clear that Harry's actions have lasting repercussions. The UK and the royal family deserve stability and respect, not the chaos and drama that seem to follow him everywhere. By denying his return, we can safeguard the dignity of the monarchy and remind Harry that true commitment and honor cannot be cast aside so easily. Reports indicate that Harry is looking to buy a house in only his name, and I believe it. Meghan will never set foot in the UK again. I think they are living separate lives and have some kind of business arrangement for when they are photographed together. They try to act like a happy couple, but Harry always looks miserable with her. I also think Meghan didn't accompany him on the book tour because she's planning to use the book's contents against him. Even though she wrote most of it, including his drug confessions, she'll use it as ammo to portray Harry as a terrible husband who does drugs and drinks every day, making her feel unsafe in her own home. Besides, I wonder if the Montecito house is under a joint mortgage or only in Harry's name. Meghan has no income of her own, and let's face it, selling 22 jars of jam and a few dog biscuits won't convince a lender to consider her contribution. The same goes for any of her deals. They are all talk and no deposits. Lenders care about income and cash in the bank. I doubt Charles will stand as guarantor for his spendthrift son, especially since he might end up shouldering the blame when Harry fails to get AP protection. If they're smart, they'll rent a place. When the marriage inevitably falls apart, each can return to as much of their former life as possible. If the children are biologically tied to Meghan, the king and Meghan may reach a financial agreement to make her disappear from all their lives. Meghan will be desperate, so it won't cost much. She's likely already spent whatever money she could get. One thing is certain: paternity tests will be done before any offers are made. Meghan thinks she's in control, but that's only true as long as she's married to Harry and he lets her continue to ruin his life. I believe the royal family and the UK government should set a policy or law for what happens when a royal family member in the top 6 in the line of succession causes chaos. This happened when the former king married Wallis Simpson, and again when Harry married Meghan. However, Harry was never king, nor will he be. It's foolish not to address this situation in the modern world. In short, they should stop this internationally protected person business. Even if Harry wins his suit for police protection in the UK, no other country is obliged to provide him security at public expense. An internationally protected person IP refers to heads of state or government and diplomatic representatives. Harry is neither. He is a private citizen. From past to present, he cares about nobody but himself, and there's no sign of regret on his part. His behavior towards his family and country is unforgivable. Harry's desire to buy a house in the UK and return raises suspicion. He hasn't been truthful in years. Watching Harry and Meghan is like looking at the wreckage of a serious accident. You can't look away because it's reported endlessly. Many of us are waiting for the palace or the courts to tell Harry to stop with the lawsuits and other attention-grabbing events. It's incredible that nobody in the courts or the royal family has done anything to stop them. Furthermore, hasn't he repeatedly stated that they are not safe in England? I'm not sure if he watched Trooping the Colour when the king stood alone on a podium to take the salute. There were likely armed snipers watching, but no attempt was made on his life. Until Harry has won or lost his case, there's no way he would buy a house in the UK. In any case, Meghan has expressed her dislike for the UK, but it seems no one cares. My concern is that since he stepped back, Harry has done nothing but talk about the royal family, used his background to make money, and gave a very public TV interview where he and Meghan made about 17 statements that were proven untrue. This caused much heartache to his whole family, especially when his grandmother had just lost her husband of 73 years. His latest move of stepping back involves announcing the publication of a book about his family, timed to clash with celebrations marking his grandmother's 70 years on the throne. He needs to realize that his actions portray him and his wife as self-obsessed, selfish, and narcissistic. Personally, I wish he would keep stepping back until he fades into the distance and we can no longer hear him. It's important to emphasize that he is not His Royal Highness and does not undertake royal duties. He lives and works abroad like anyone else in that situation, without special security provisions. If he stays in palace residences, he automatically receives coverage. Unlike other royals, he doesn't have paparazzi following him, allowing him to move about normally. Moreover, he doesn't support his family and openly criticizes them. There's even film of Harry wearing an army uniform, the same one in which he pledged allegiance to his queen and country, stating his dislike for this country. Well, Harry, we don't like you either. Every time Harry opens his mouth, he proves to the world that he's a total idiot with no grasp of reality. There's an old adage, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. I wish he would find a village. Clearly, the road to recognition that Harry and Meghan desperately seek is long and winding. This latest snub highlights their awkward and failing attempts to break into Hollywood's elite circles. Will they continue to live in the illusion of their fame, or will they face the bitter truth that they are merely fleeting stars? Actually, their actions did open doors. Upon their arrival, people reached out to them, believing their stories of royalty and familial jealousy were true. Tyler even gave them free flights and stays in one of his luxury homes. Rent-free, other celebrities went on record offering support, and companies lined up with multi-million-dollar contracts, book deals, and public speaking opportunities. In fact, they got everything they asked for because people sympathized with their desire to thrive and live peacefully. However, many years on, Americans have become wiser and more informed. They see through the stories and lies, and they are stepping back and distancing themselves. People, no matter where they are very discerning. If someone has negative traits, they will eventually be exposed. Only foolish individuals believe they can get away with wrongdoing. Up until now, Harry and Meghan have never been A-listers. I think they both mistakenly assumed that their titles alone would open all doors and that VIPs would welcome them eagerly. In reality, the opposite has proven true. All doors remain firmly shut to this unpopular pair. The more they seek recognition, the more they are perceived as unwanted nobodies. Despite their titles, which no longer impress anyone, Harry and Meghan find themselves in a dire situation. The irony of this couple is that they are both erratic together. They create chaos. Once shocking the world with their bold moves, Harry and Meghan are now in a pitiful and deserved predicament. After leaving the royal family for Hollywood, they've lost everything. No longer the center of attention, they are now outsiders in America's elite circles. It's satisfying to see Meghan, who once showed callousness and betrayal, now facing cold indifference from those she desperately tried to impress. She expected Hollywood to embrace her, but the reality is far from it. The lavish parties, the glamorous events now all close doors to her. Harry, once a beloved prince, now stands as a dim shadow beside his wife, stripped of any remaining glamour. Their lies and theatrics can no longer hide the truth they have self-destructed. It's their just reward for betraying their family and hurting those who once loved them. Their reckless actions have led to their complete downfall, and now the world can only laugh and feel a sense of satisfaction at their spectacular failure. Initially, doors were flung open wide, but as people got to know the couple, those doors were quickly shut and double locked. Meghan desires invitations to these events more than Harry does. She's dreamed of this her entire life, believing marriage to a prince would be her golden ticket. Hence, all the invitations to Hollywood celebs for the wedding, like George Clooney, who admitted not knowing her and showed far more integrity. Reese Witherspoon refused their invitation for the same reason they haven't been invited anywhere for the past few years. Why would that change now? They've also been snubbed from Obama's 60th birthday party, Oprah's events, and the Emmys. No one wants them. Meghan really believed marrying Harry would open doors for her, but it hasn't, neither in the US nor the UK. They missed the Met Gala and the wedding of the year, leaving only the Oscars. Mr. Quinn from Los Angeles is starting the speculation, will they or won't they be invited? And if invited, will they attend or decline to avoid stealing attention from other celebrities? This scenario plays out at every event, and the public sees through it. Mr. Quinn should take note they'll never be invited to an A-list event. Loose lips sink ships. Hollywood doesn't want anyone who might gossip about them, and they recognize that Harry and Meghan can't be trusted. A-listers also prefer not to risk their relationships with the monarchy by associating with this couple. They know cozying up to Harry and Meghan could jeopardize any future invitations from the palace. As for Meghan, who hasn't acted recently, why would she expect an invitation to the Oscars? Perhaps as a seat filler. It's amusing to think she might anticipate an invite to one of Hollywood's most prestigious events without significant contributions to the industry. Maybe she believes her constant media presence and controversial interviews qualify her to mingle among cinematic elites. However, Hollywood, much like the British royal family, values merit and talent, neither of which she has shown in her acting career. Her sense of grandeur seems delusional. It's as if she assumes her marriage to Prince Harry automatically opens doors for her, which is far from reality. But reality proves to be a much harsher critic. The truth is, Meghan's efforts to portray herself as a serious public figure often fall short. She lacks a substantial body of work, iconic roles, or anything that would justify an Oscar invitation other than sheer audacity. Let's be honest, her claim of wanting a quiet life is a farce. Every move she makes, every statement she utters seems calculated to keep her in the public eye from tell-all interviews to high-profile lawsuits. She thrives on drama and publicity. It's ironic that someone supposedly seeking privacy ends up as one of the most overexposed personalities globally. Furthermore, the constant contradictions between her statements and actions only fuel public skepticism and disdain. One moment she laments privacy invasions, the next she shares intimate details of her life on global platforms. This inconsistency not only undermines her credibility but also exposes blatant hypocrisy. Meghan's true talent seems to lie in generating headlines rather than earning genuine accolades. Her pursuit of recognition and status is transparent, and the public isn't easily deceived. The reality is, Hollywood doesn't require another fame seeker lacking substance to offer. If Meghan genuinely wants to be taken seriously, perhaps she should focus on making genuine contributions rather than constantly seeking the limelight through controversy. It's questionable what talent Meghan believes she possesses when she continually falls short. Meghan Markle risks damaging her new lifestyle brand as she grapples with two critical aspects of launching a successful business. 3 months ago, she launched a pretentious webpage promoting her business and various items for sale. However, 3 months later, nothing is available for purchase or delivery. Launching a new business, whether selling jam or any other product, demands a structured and committed approach. First, organize the business and hire staff. Second, ensure they're paid, stock the product, and have it ready to ship when orders come in, which means paying suppliers for the goods. Third, open the business and be ready to sell. Fourth, launch the website. Fifth, execute a publicity stunt, like sending the product to celebrities. These steps must be followed in a specific order, with steps 1 and 2 completed beforehand, followed by steps 3, 4, and 5 happening simultaneously. However, Meghan jumped straight to steps 4 and 5, launching the website and doing publicity, only to be met with silence and no response. There was no business foundation, no product to sell, and no staff to manage operations. As a result, the world moved on and her supposed business remains non-existent. You can't cripple a business that doesn't even exist. Regardless of the event, whether for charity, education, or a red carpet, no one in their right mind would invite them anywhere. As soon as you know who grabbed the mic, the event would be all about ish. You know who, but I thought they wanted privacy. Perhaps the privacy thing is wearing thin, and not even the neighbors are now inviting them to any events. You're getting what you want. You can't pick and choose. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching our video, and I want to know what you think about these issues. Please express your opinion in the comments below. Hope you will always be cheerful and happy. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye and see you again in the next videos.